But and we are live with another episode of BS Busters. Sorry, normally we do this on BS
Wednesdays, but
Busters
due
on
to
Wednesdays.
due to conditions beyond our control, we had to move things around.
Yeah, I was sick yesterday. I could barely get out of bed, so I was like, I'm not gonna make it. But that's okay, because we're here now. So without much ado, let's get into it. But before we do get further into it, let's have my only fellow panelist here, which is Joel Ryder Moonstar. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the BS Busters Lights. I'm Joe Star, and we're going to talk about what happened this week. And if anything, it's not going to be too long, mind you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit short, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of short with a little short podcast. So I guess we should get the elephant out the room first. That Pokemon Direct.
Kind of sad, kind of happy. I'm just going to say it right now because kind of sad because it means that the 7th generation is ending and it's because of the fact that people have been saying that this is the greatest generation, and then they kept on begging for the new generation to come. Especially after the disasters that happened of this beeping generation.
What disasters? What?
The first Sun and Moon, the Ultras, and the Let's Go series. At least to me.
Okay then. All right. Fair enough.
But I'm also happy because, if anything, it means that at least we get to see what they're up to. But though, seriously, if it takes 3 years to go from one generation to the next, even though people are going to say that they've been working on it for years, I consider what they release and give to us as interrupting that pattern, even though they probably use their B team for what else they use.
It could be. I mean, the Pokemon Company is much bigger than it was, 20 years ago when Pokemon first came out. So, I mean, they probably could juggle more projects, but they just don't, which is kind of sad because, there should be more Pokemon games coming out aside from just the mainline traveling around doing X, Y, or Z. I'm going to be the best champion ever storyline, recycled ad nauseum in every damn game coming out.
Which they have done to a degree, but it depends on but your mileage may vary when I mention these games.
Well, Pokemon, I mean, because most of them aren't very good. That's the thing. Yeah.
Magikarp.
Yeah, they just aren't very good. Like,
as I said, your mileage may vary.
Like Pokemon Ranger is to me was meh. Pokemon the only Pokemon spinoff that I actually had fun with were the Coliseum and were the 2 Coliseum games on the GameCube. And those weren't
Coliseum
made.
and XDA Darkness.
Yeah.
And those were made by
Genius Sonority.
I think Genius Sonority.
Yeah, they were made by Genius Sonority, which basically they're purveyors of like 2nd tier, 3rd tier RPGs back in the day. I think they're still around, but they don't make games like that anymore. But I mean, so basically my feeling with the Direct was just meh. I
said I'm mixed because I said I was sad that the generation's ending and that we're getting a new generation after how bad this generation was, but also happy because, if anything, I want to see what they're up to, but then it turns into worry because you can understand why.
I think this generation has just been mediocre all around. Because, I mean, look, we had, like, like basically Alpha, like the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire weren't that good. And then they did.
That was 6.
Yeah, they were kind of like meh. And then they did Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, which, like, even with Ultra Sun and Moon, they didn't fix the underlying Ultra Sun and Moon. They didn't fix the underlying problems with Sun and Moon. So, and then now they're doing another one, and I'm not.
Yeah, and the worst of it is it's going to be on the Switch, which opens its own can of worms.
If you own a Switch, that's, I mean, and from what I've seen, I mean, all we had was like a 7-minute trailer that just said, yes, a new Pokemon's coming out. Yes, it's coming to the Switch. Yes, it's going to be this game. But they aren't hinting, like
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, we don't have more information behind what's going on. But from what I can see, the game is going to essentially be a by the numbers. Yeah, you got some new Pokemon and a new region, but it's going to essentially be the same shit they've been doing for years, except with better graphics, better Pokemon, not better, different Pokemon, different region. And I'm sorry, like, I mean, do you people ever do anything different with their Pokemon game?
They inch into different territory, but they don't fully step into it.
Just keep on, just keep on doing the same shit over and over again with slight variation. It's like, how you like this grilled cheese sandwich? But this time, the
cheese is different.
No, the cheese is different. I put a little butter. I put a little margarine with the butter in the pan when I grilled it. It's like, wow, that didn't add any significant difference to how this tastes or how this looks or how it or anything else, but it's different. That's basically the Pokemon games to me at this point. I don't like it. But I mean, look. So are you gonna get this game? Are you gonna try it? Are you gonna just let it go?
That's the nasty part, because the only game I bought last generation officially before I got others as gifts was just Sun, and that's a troubling thing for them if they want to have more sales. And something tells me I'm going to end up buying only one game, which would be the main game, or in this case, Sword.
You're doing more than me, because I'm not buying either. And I don't want them as gifts either. I'm not buying this Pokemon game, and I'm okay with that. Basically, this will go into it'll go into the Black and White too. Because I didn't buy that game either. I was like, so basically, you're selling me the same game with slightly different.
Black and White 2 changed where you started, and mostly changed the Pokemon lineup and changed up who you battle with.
Yeah, basically, I was like, this could have been an expansion. Like, really, this could have been downloadable content. Like, I don't know why you charge people
DLC is not Pokemon Stadium. You can know that.
I know. Because they want to nickel and dime you with shit over and over again. If you want everything, trade with your friends or buy or buy the other version. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not doing it.
You're not buying the second version, but if anything, the trading is the only way in.
If you buy both versions of Pokemon, you're going to spend about as much money as buying, or more than buying a full $60 game. Because the Pokemon games, for the longest time, have been around $40. So you buy both versions, you're spending $80, and that's more than a AAA game. So no, I'm done. I'm done with for the time being. Until they do something that's substantially different from the formula, then
yeah. The thing is, I usually only buy one version of any dual copy. That's the thing. But now I'm only going down to just one of each generation. That's terrible for them.
Well, I mean, you're a hardcore Pokemon person. See, like me, I used to be hardcore, but I'm at the point now where I'm not even buying versions. Like I borrowed Sun and Moon, and I played them, and I was like, these aren't very good, and and I never bought them. So at this point, I'm at the point now where I'm not even gonna. I'm done. And the new Pokemon, they look. I'm like, it's okay.
If anything, the new Pokemon, I'm just going to say this. That's usually Pokemon, the only thing that are standard that usually doesn't change for me. That is usually a good bag of mixed good, bad, and so on. And so far with the starters, the only one that interests me is the fire type, which is weird because the only time I was uninterested in only one fire type would be back in Generation 2.
Well, the chimp Pokemon looked kind of cool. But here's the thing: all the starters in every game, they look overly cute when they're in their first form, and then once they get their third form, they almost all of them, or at least 2/3 of them, look badass by their third form. So we just got to find out which one. But enough about
we have to wait.
Pokemon game. Let's talk about something that Pokemon's been doing that's good. So I saw the second trailer for the movie, and I gotta say, man, I wish that those shitty anime movies had never been made and they just done this. Cause I'm getting a Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
No. That's Uncanny Valley territory you're kissing.
No, well, because it's like, well, what if Pokemon were real? And they're actually trying to make it like there's a scene in the trailer where like you have a Machoke basically patrolling traffic, and there's a Snorlax that's looking like a homeless dude just sleeping on the corner. And I'm like, actually, considering Snorlax's behavior, yeah, they totally do that. I'm tired. And there's Pokemon totally in a world where people fight Pokemon like officially. Of course, there would be an illegal underground Pokemon battle. I like.
Yeah, I'm not trying to watch that movie.
That's the only Pokemon movie I've been excited for in a long time. And no,
that movie is.
It's not because Ryan Reynolds. I just like the idea of them treating Pokemon to their logical conclusion. Like there's DJs in a club and they're using those noise Pokemon as
Whisper,
that makes sense. Like that, it's like, okay, because the problem with the Pokemon movies, especially the ones that, well, all of the animated ones, they focus too much on Ash Ketchum, and
I was going to say
Ketchum is a shitty Pokemon trainer, and
I was going to say that's their Shonen Jump hero. So I always know what that is.
And none of the character development in Pokemon actually means a goddamn thing because none of the events in the movies matters in any way, shape, or form to what happens in the actual cartoon. Cartoon sucks. So
this is like say that. This is the reason why I say that he's the Shonen Jump hero, meaning that he's not going to end up with anything other than back to start. But that's the rule of thumb of any anime. Like very few anime, like no anime has a character. The only anime that I've seen kind of has a character have a movie where they have character development that actually matters to the actual show is One Piece, where you've had things that happen in a movie and then like that actually carries over to the anime. And that's rare because normally they do a movie and it has fuck all to do with the actual anime or manga, which is ridiculous because I'm like, you made people come out here and spend money to watch your 80, 90-minute movie and you don't even have the decency to have a story that's actually connected to the greater universe of what's going on. Fuck you. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this is the only Pokemon movie I've been excited for because, first of all, the Pokemon to me look gorgeous.
In a way, it's like it's not uncanny valley for me, like the Sonic the Hedgehog like teaser stills have been, where it's like, okay, that just looks fucking wrong. But it's like, okay, so we want to basically create how Pokemon would look, but we don't want to make it creepy. But we don't want to make it like normal animals.
You've really got your uncanny valley must be a little bit shallower than mine.
No, well, uncanny valley means that they try to make it look realistic, but it's not quite there. You can see that something's wrong with it. With me, the only character that looks like that is when is in the trailer. Now, I haven't seen the movie, so I'll give my full review when the movie comes out. But basically, is Ryan Reynolds when he loses his hat, and he's like, there's a scene where he somehow gets caught. Because he's a detective. He's Detective Pikachu. So so the skills that he would have learned to, like, you know, Thunderbolt and Thunder Wave and Quick Attack, all that shit. He doesn't know any of that shit. He's a detective. He detects. He helps find shit, which I think is a really interesting concept. So he's in this fight, and he's like holding these chains, like, motherfucker, I don't want to be in this fight. You better get me the fuck out of here. And I think that's like a really hilarious. Because logically, like, in a world where you have these people who are like, yeah, let's make Pokemon fight, there's got to be some Pokemon that are like, fuck this shit, I don't want to be in this shit. And considering how shitty of a Pokemon trainer Ash Ketchum is, if they could talk, they'd be like that. But anyway, yeah, and then they have Mewtwo in the trailer, which is awesome. Looking as badass as Mewtwo always has been.
And you wonder why I say Uncanny Valley, because some of these creatures.
You say that Mewtwo looks unnatural. Awesome. Mewtwo's supposed to look unnatural because he's a genetically modified Pokemon. He's not supposed to look like.
And that's the thing. That's because, if anything, I've been raised mostly on animation, trying to understand how it flexes and moves in a sense.
See, that's the problem. So, you're wedded to the anime. That's the problem. See, I'm not like, oh my god.
Here's the thing. Anime is not awesome, buddy. You can shove that right up your. Ow!
The Pokemon anime, not the Generations anime, where they basically took a more serious look of Pokemon. I'm talking about the shitty one that we grew up with that came out in the 90s. You know, gotta catch them all. that.
Here's the thing. I understand that's the thing. I understand the animation has iffy writing, to say the least. I'm trying to be generous here. And I try to ignore the fact that we are always going to go back to start and just try to enjoy it like popcorn movies. Because if anything, the real good stuff is usually when it's not focusing on our trash character. I'm being generous, so please let me work with this.
Yeah.
And even though I did see Detective Pikachu clips, it feels uncanny to me. That's the thing.
Okay.
And I mean, I know I've been through the animation stuff, and I do ignore the stupid facts that are so obvious that hits you like a brick. But I try to enjoy it for what possibilities it has.
Well, I mean, listen, it's your thing. Just for me, the cartoon was never like all that good, so I'm not really wedded. I'm not like, oh my god, like, I'm like, no. Like, I personally, like I said, when they did Generations, they took Pokemon more seriously, because you have this world where, like, you know, instead of the animals we have, they have Pokemon, and they use the Pokemon to do all types of cool shit. Like, and how lame it looked in the cartoon we got here in America, but then you look at the Generations anime, where it was like, oh shit, wow, Pokemon are badass. And yet we're seeing like the Detective Pikachu movie actually is taking that seriously. Pokemon are badass. Whereas in the anime and in the cartoon that we grew up with and the movies that are based on that cartoon, it's like, I mean, even
the reason why
I'm gonna tell you the reason that I'm gonna tell you the moment where I said fuck you to the Pokemon series, like the movie, was with the first movie. With Ash and how the inconsistencies with typing and that bullshit ass ending. You're like, they turned Ash into stone and the Pokemon start crying. I'm like, fuck Ash Ketchum and fuck those Pokemon crying for him.
To be honest with you, I was going to give you if you did that by the second movie.
No. Because at the end of that, I was like, "Fuck this series." Like that. I mean, not the games, the movies. Because anytime you would okay, that's not what people want. Like the whole big thing was that they were going to show off Mew. Oh man, Mew! You're finally going to get to see Mew. That was the big reveal of the Pokemon movie. But then I'm watching and I'm like, I play these games. I own quite a few of them. I know what typing is supposed to be. Thundershock can't do shit to a rock ground type Pokemon. Yet the magic Pikachu can take out a rock type Pokemon with a Thundershock attack, which makes no fucking sense. Don't get me started about the shitty ass movie. But and then at the end, like one of the worst Pokemon trainers I've ever seen, who lucks into getting all types of stuff. Into getting badges, especially in the first few seasons, and it's like, oh well, he got turned to stone and died, and the Pokemon are sad. I'm like, fuck him. Go get a real trainer. You'll be much happier.
I was gonna say, at least this is the reason why I tried to suspend my mind of disbelief, because some of that is pretty cool, and some of it I just say, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like I said, Ash has only had like 3 really cool moments, and in my opinion, like 3. Well, actually, he's had more than that, but most of them involve him going to like each region's Pokemon League and either getting his ass kicked or losing in the second or third round. Although it was good seeing him finally beat Gary, but then again, nobody likes Gary, so fuck him.
If anything, if it helps your constitution, he made it to the finals in one of these series.
Yeah, I know. He didn't win, but Ash is the eternal loser. he's like worse than Luigi, because at least Luigi gets sloppy seconds, but Ash can't even get that. So.
Did you just go there?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, it's true. I mean, let's keep it real.
Luigi was a real punch.
Let's keep it real, right? Like Luigi basically gets his girlfriend is Daisy. Daisy used to date his brother Mario. I mean, come on, let's do the math here, people. But Ash doesn't even get that, because like Ash doesn't even get that. Ash is just like, yeah, I'm a Pokemon trainer. Yeah, but you're a shitty Pokemon trainer. Like your best Pokemon, your highest level Pokemon, at a certain point realized how lame you were and stopped fighting for you.
I'm trying to think of which one, because there's been at least 3 that I know off the top of my head.
Remember
that's number 2.
No, that was the first one.
I was saying, like, that's number 2.
It became really powerful, and it was like, you know what? You're a shitty Pokemon trainer. I don't want to fight for you anymore. Even though, by the logic of Pokemon, if you have 8 gym badges, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. But Ash is a shitty Pokemon trainer.
I was going to say, you actually are wrong about that, because he got 6.
Really?
Did you think? Remember, at least 2 of those were giveaways.
That's what I was about to say, because I know 2 of them By those standards, they were giveaways. But I mean, come on,
I said that. See, that's the reason why I say he got 6.
well, oh well, he's still a shitty Pokemon trainer. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the next topic, which is let's. But I mean, overall, I'm looking forward to the movie. Could it be terrible? Yes, but
get your cheesy popcorn, just in case.
Let me put it this way: this is the first Pokemon movie that I've looked forward to in a long time. Now, speaking of Pokemon movies, there's another Pokemon movie being released. It's called Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, and it's a completely CG film starring Ash, Misty, Brock, Pikachu, but it's in CG, which it's got Ash in it.
Hey, we already bashed on him enough.
No.
Can we at least let him walk on?
No, we can't. There's never enough Ash bashing because he's a shitty Pokemon trainer. I
was gonna say,
and they use.
I know you bashed him with the movie animations.
And they use.
I thought at least you
damn MacGuffin.
Little air.
And they use his Pikachu as a damn MacGuffin because he's a shitty Pokemon trainer. And when they need to get out of a bad situation, I'll just use this Pikachu against any type of Pokemon. Hey, it's a Steel type. Hey, I'll use my Pikachu. It'll totally work. But it's a Steel type. It doesn't matter. It's my Super Pikachu. It'll take it out. But it's a Steel type, and
like I said, I try to suspend my mind of disbelief with how he thinks, because he can give you a serious headache when you think of what he does.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. So yeah, there's another Pokemon game.
Give us a little air.
There's another Pokemon. There's another Pokemon movie. However, it's Japan only. So, I mean,
at least you could say that it's not imported yet.
I mean, it'll probably be translated at some point and brought over. So I'm not going to watch it because I don't like Ash Ketchum, and I don't want to see any more shitty Pokemon movies with Ash Ketchum that have some cool shit in them, but that has no connection to anything in the greater Pokemon universe. So what's the point? So yeah, I don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't want it.
It's a nope all around. I can hear it.
Let's see what else. What else? Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove is coming out sometime this week, or is it next week? Whatever. If you're a Toe Jam and Earl fan,
if I remember right, isn't that one of Sega's surprise franchises?
Well, it was exclusive to their system. This is the redo. It comes out March 1st, so tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow, and basically, it from what I'm seeing with reviews and from what I'm seeing, it basically is a mix of like the first game and the second game. Like there's some, like you have the overworld from the first game where it's like randomly generated, but then you also have like stuff happening from the second game where you go into bonus areas where it's like a 2D platformer. Looks from what I'm seeing with the little stuff, it looks pretty good. I mean, if you're a Toe Jam and Earl fan, I never was a huge Toe Jam and Earl fan, but I mean, if you love those games, then it's for you. It's coming to Mac, PC, the Switch, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One. So there's really no excuse for someone not to be playing this game. if they really like Toe Jam and Earl. Which is just a really cool name. Who are you? I'm Earl. Okay. Earl. What an interesting name. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What other news? I saw part of a kind of like of a review for not Hotline Miami, Shakedown Miami, which is the second game from Vlambeer Studios. V Blank Studios, the people who made River City Rampage. And for those of you who don't know, River City Rampage is the heavily inspired by how can I put this? GTA and other
Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I mean, it's inspired by Grand Theft Auto, but it's also heavily inspired by old school 8-bit video games. So, like, all right, it's inspired by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, Mario Brothers for the NES, Contra for the NES. Like, it's inspired by a lot of NES nostalgia, but it's also an 8-bit GTA game. And I have the game on because I helped kickstart that game. I have the game on PC. I have the game on 3DS. I have the game on Wii U. I have the game on Wii. I have really bought the shit out of that game. And now that they're doing Shakedown Miami, which initially was like going to be a direct sequel to River City Rampage, River City Rampage, but it's actually its own thing. It's just kind of tangentially related to it. But the game looks really good. It went from having one protagonist, which was the kid, to 3 protagonists. You have an old guy who owned this company in the 80s that couldn't keep up. So basically, his company manufactured VCRs and old school telephones and stuff like that. And with the advent of technology, like, people don't need VCRs with streaming. People don't need old school telephones with cell phones and smartphones. So he's basically so basically this character in this fictional universe, this old man's like, shit, I gotta get things back together so that I don't lose my company. So, and that's the premise, is that he's got to go around making deals, the old guy, but then his son, who's a brat, is also doing stuff in order to get his own money situated. And then the old guy hires a third character, a mercenary type character, to go and do shady things to take out his competition. So, I mean, 3 protagonists, a lot of stuff going on. This game is basically going to be a 32-bit cell pixel shaded GTA game. And I fucking love the idea behind this. And it's literally 4.5 times bigger than the original Retro City Rampage. So, goddamn, that's all I can really say.
That's quite neat to know.
So, looking forward to Retro City, to Shakedown Miami. Looking forward to this game. It's supposed to come out this spring. Which means, March, April, May, in that 3-month time period. Looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I've been looking forward to an indie game on the Switch, or any indie game really. So, yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to it. So, if you are watching, we were just joined by
Pinky Don from Video Game Facts.
Pinky Don from Video Game Facts. Now, before you came here, we talked about the Pokemon movie, whether we were looking forward to Detective Pikachu or not, whether we were looking forward to the new Pokemon game, and such.
Well, I already know your guys' answers just by seeing the trailers.
Of the Pokemon thing?
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Jewel said that she's cautiously optimistic, but also not cautiously optimistic. It's half and half. I said I'm probably not going to get it. Well, yeah, probably not going to get it. And I guess you totally are going to get it. So, it works out. It works out very well.
I'm thinking of getting only one of the two versions.
Yeah, that's what Jewel said. She's probably going to get one of the two versions. And then we did Detective Pikachu. This is the first Pokemon movie I've looked forward to in a long time. But she's like, no, it's Uncanny Valley.
Well, lucky for her, there's another Pokemon movie in the works coming this year.
Yeah, it's the CG animated movie with.
It's a CG remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back, the first Pokemon movie.
Well, I know I'm not going to watch it because I hate that fucking movie.
I mean, the human characters look even more uncanny than the Pokemon in the live action Pikachu.
Actually, I'm going to keep it real. I just don't like Ash Ketchum. Like if they did an entire series of Pokemon with just Brock, because I like the fact that he hardly ever opens his eyes. I think that's hilarious. Like if they made a spin-off series where you just had Brock being an amazing Pokemon trainer and doing amazing shit while also being really horny and trying to get with every Nurse Jenny and Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny around and like every hot chick around and maybe not so hot chick, that would be awesome. But instead we just get Ash Ketchum, the world's worst Pokemon trainer. I mean, he's probably like the worst Pokemon trainer ever.
But there's a problem with spin-off. There's a problem with spin-off shows starring side characters because they lost their luster when they're given too much screen time.
I don't know. I mean, but then again, like I said, I like Brock as a character because he's interesting to me. But that's neither here nor there. So we've got around 20 minutes left before the end of the podcast. So anyone have any topics they want to bring up before we the inevitable ending? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. In regards to Resident Evil, Capcom just announced the news about the Switch ports for Resident Evil 1, 0, and 4. And unfortunately, they're more expensive than the PS3/PS4 ports.
So we're gonna have to pay a Switch tax, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not doing it.
It happens.
I'm not like I'm tired of having to pay more because a game is on the Nintendo Switch. I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of the excuse people make. Well, it's because cartridges are more expensive.
Cartridges are expensive.
And look, listen. To be fair, yes, the cartridges are proprietary technology. They may be more expensive, but here's the thing. That's not my fucking problem. As a consumer, that's not my problem. And here's the thing. Okay, fine then. Cartridges are more expensive. Then why don't you basically say the digital version is cheaper and the cartridge version will be more expensive? Why don't you do that? Because the digital version is digital. There's no cartridge involved with it. Now,
they also have the digital version just as more expensive than the digital versions for the PS3 and PS4 versions as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's just Capcom being greedy. It's all these companies being greedy, because they just want an excuse to charge you an arm and a leg for bullshit that shouldn't be an arm and a leg. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. And I'm not going to keep on trying to fucking, I'm not playing that game. Nope. Not doing it. I'm tired of paying Switch taxes.
Everyone is.
I mean, that's why I really don't. I mean, that's the reason that I really don't play a lot of That's why a lot of games that are on the Switch, I just get them on the PC. Like, it's cheaper. I'm sorry. Unless something is really good on the Switch, I'm not getting it on the Switch. Like, I'll get Steam World Quest. Sorry, Steam World. I'll get Steam World Quest on the Switch because it's first coming out on the Switch. I'll get Shakedown Miami on the Switch first because it's first coming out on the Switch. But aside from that, like, unless it's a Nintendo exclusive, I'm sorry. A lot of shit I'm not getting on the Switch because I just don't want to pay like 20% more just
imposed Switch pack.
Because it's not like, okay, if you were getting like the best version of a game on the Switch, if you were getting all the DLC or better graphics or something like that, the fact that it's portable and I can play it anywhere is not enticement for me because I don't use my Switch like that. So that's not a selling point for me. It's like, oh, so you want me to pay more for the off chance that I might want to play this someplace else for like 20 minutes. That's not really a fair price assertion for me.
And after that news is one of the Game Informer insiders saying that how KH3 is impossible to be ported onto the Switch for graphical reasons.
You know, I call bullshit.
Which game?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that one.
Which contradicts stating how, which contradicts Tetsuya Nomura's statement that how it's possible to port KH3 on the Switch.
Yeah, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
And the reason I call bullshit is because of this. Square Enix has been saying this shit for years, and it's always been bullshit. They said, oh, we can't put Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on the GameCube because the discs are too small. And here's the thing. Or no. It was because initially it's because the GameCube could handle it, even though the GameCube was more powerful and more capable than the PS2. And then they were like, oh, we can't do it so they couldn't do the 1.5 and 2.5 remasters on the Wii U, even though the Wii U was more powerful than the PS3, which the 1.5 and 2.5 remasters came to the PS3. So there was no excuse for it not to come to those systems. Oh, well, we can't do it they can't do it on the Switch. Why? I mean, let's keep it real. Square Enix's face is so far up Sony's ass that every time Sony breaks wind, they know what they ate. And that's why we aren't getting certain games on the system. The only reason we're getting Final Fantasy is because Square Enix is desperate for money. Okay? Like, if they could get money and not put the Final Fantasy games on the Switch, they'd do that. They'd do that shit in a heartbeat. And notice, they're just porting these shitty tablet and mobile versions of Final Fantasies to the Switch. They're not porting, like, they're not making these games. They're not redoing these games from the ground up so that they run better on the system, which is bullshit. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. If you can accept mediocrity, I mean, I'm not gonna purchase it. That's all I can say. I don't know about you guys, but I can't give them my money.
That'd be too much.
And I guess that's pretty much all of the video game news we have so far this week.
Thus far, yeah, I can't give them my money. I can't do it. I can't. Square Enix. Like, there was a sale.
They screw things over a lot.
Well, there was a sale on Fanatical that used to be called Bundle Stars, where I could get Deus Ex, the new Deus Ex games for like under $10, both of them, with all the DLC, Game of the Year editions. And I was like,
yes, there is one other video game news. Lost Reavers is ending its service on May 30th.
What?
Lost Reavers, that free-to-play game on the Wii U.
Never heard of it.
Oh, I
Really?
have. It's that weird treasure hunting game that forced co-op upon you and other players.
Oh, you mean that Namco Bandai game that they were like, yeah, this is an experiment and it's free. And when the game finally came out, I was like, it's okay. I mean, I'm not really like...
It's not bad, but it could have been better.
Yeah, it's not the best game ever. I mean...
I could have sworn it was well received from from those who play the game, because it was during that time where people were demanding that Wii U have better third-party support.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was from Namco Bandai. Namco Bandai is a 50-50 company. I've said this before. 50% of the time with Namco Bandai, you'll get a good game. The other 50% of the time, you'll get some bullshit. But it's like you don't know from which direction it'll come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know if it's going to be good. You don't know if it's going to be shit. Like, it's a 50-50 proposition. And the thing is like, would you accept? Like, would you eat at a restaurant where half the time the food made you sick? No. So I'm not like, oh my God, I'm so happy, with whatever the fuck, I'm so happy with the
game that we gained.
I'm so happy with Namco Bandai because they're supporting a system. It's like, yeah, but like I said, they're half and half. It's always like, like, yeah, they helped out with what was the game? Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah.
But
they helped with Smash Bros. 3 times.
But then they fucked up with the Metroid Prime 4. So, like, how bad do you have to be where someone comes in, looks at your work, and says, "Fuck it, we'll go someplace else." Like, I mean, we can assume they fucked up when someone does that. And they didn't show any, like, they showed no gameplay. They showed no they showed no gameplay. They showed no concept footage, nothing. Like, it was quiet as a tomb about that game. And this was like one of their big games that they wanted to show off. I mean, that's kind of it's a little telling. That's all I'm going to say. It's a little telling that your game is just no one knows anything. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy.
Okay, and I now remember this other news that happened this week: controversy regarding the definitive edition of Catherine.
That movie of puzzles. I mean, that game of puzzles.
Yeah. And it involves the additional girl that was added to the game in the updated re-release.
Well, they added another Catherine.
Yeah, they added another Catherine.
So,
and one of the endings regarding her is apparently transphobic.
You find out Catherine's a dude. You find out this Catherine's sporting a twig and 2 berries.
Yes.
So, it's a game.
Oh boy.
It's a game. People need to calm down. It's just a game. Calm the fuck down. It's a game.
I was going to say, it's probably one of the weirdest games you ever hear about.
Yeah, I played the original. I have that on the PS. I have that on the PS3. I actually like it. I like that art style, that like Persona art style, and I like the concept of a guy who cheated on his girlfriend who basically is like wrestling with guilt, and like you never know quite what's going on. Like you don't know if it's his conscience or if there's literally like a demon trying to kill him. You just don't know. It's very psychedelic. You don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's fun.
It's silly to say the least.
Yeah.
So there's basically there's a line of dialogue in that certain ending that sounded very transphobic to Western audiences. And according to one of our contributors, even the Japanese audience didn't like that ending as well.
Yeah,
because of how transphobic it sounded.
Well, I mean, you can't nail it all the time. I mean, let's keep it real, okay? Atlas, by and large, has been really good about tackling mature subject matter. Like, in my opinion, and this is just, my own humble opinion, but I think that if you played Persona 4, that really tackled a young kid grappling with his own sexuality. Well, two children, two young adults grappling with their sexuality in mostly a realistic way that wasn't like exploitative or using it as just a trope, right?
Right.
And I think that was a really well done how they did it. Now, I mean, in other games, they've also tackled it in a way, which is amazing because almost every Persona game has a monster named Mata, which is basically a giant dick. But but in this case, they've actually, they're doing something a little different,
And according to the American division of Atlas, they mentioned how they're going to change some of the more transphobic dialogue for the English release of the definitive edition. And there are people who are defending the original version, decrying censorship for changing the dialogue.
Censorship?
Well, yeah. I mean, in this case, it probably is better that they, change it because, the original game didn't have that. So there's no reason for them to add a new character and then to kind of make it like that's one of the reasons I don't like certain
remixes,
redos of games because it just in some ways it makes it worse. Which I don't like. Like they add content or they just mess things up in ways that I don't like. So this fixes it. So good.
So now I'm done with all the recent news.
All right. So anything else anyone wants to talk about before we wrap things up?
I think I'm all right.
All I can say is that the female protagonist for Pokemon Sword and Shield is now being depicted as an angry Scottish woman by the internet.
Okay.
Why am I not surprised?
I mean, I don't really care that much. I'm less than enthused with I'm less than enthused with the new Pokemon game. Probably won't be getting it. So, and the more they show, the lower my enthusiasm, which is already like not very high. Like it's not even
floor.
It's level right now. It'll probably go below the floor. So then I know I won't be getting it. So, but it is what it is. Whatever. So, sorry, I had to yawn there a little bit. So that's just my opinion. I know some people have their own opinion, and they're entitled to it because everyone has their opinions. So I was going to do a fun topic, but I'm pretty sure people have other things they want to do with their time. I'll save the fun topic for Saturday Saturday's BS Busters. So with that being said, pimp out what you guys want to pimp out, and then we'll wrap things up. Anyone have anything?
Let's see. I don't have anything new to bring up for video game facts, other than saying that I'll be throughout this whole. Other than saying I'll be playing some ARMS Crash Party test events tomorrow, since one is beginning.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm also waiting for next month's Splatfest event. Hopefully, don't know what theme is going to be about until they announce it on their Twitter account.
If it's going to be the big one, it's probably too soon.
Well, everyone has their own thing that they like. So as anyone can tell you, I'm not like I haven't played Splatoon in a long time, even though I have the game. I just I'm not as enthused about Splatoon 2 as I was about the first one. What it is.
Probably because it doesn't have the second screen experience.
That's a part of it. Just they changed how some of the weapons play, and some of the special moves just aren't as fun. But Salmon Run's still kind of fun though. But aside from that, just it is what it is. So yeah, I have nothing that I'm pimping out. I'm gonna try and upload some videos. I've recorded a ton of footage with Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remake of the first Yakuza game, with new material and a new engine, and it's just a pretty game. And it's a beat 'em up. You beat the shit out of random people. Recently, I recorded some footage of my character basically stopping these punks who were abusing a small little dog, and then beat the shit out of them, which is great. Because if you like abusing small animals, you're a sick person, and you need to get the shit kicked out of you.
I would say that's one that even I'm not sure where you get that from.
No, it's Yakuza. So Yakuza is all about beating the shit out of random people, because that's what you do in Yakuza.
He cut off.
Somebody dropped in.
What just happened, Mr. Red Fox? Did you accidentally press the X? He's not answering.
Probably technical difficulties. Why am I not surprised?
And we're still live before he could give us our send-offs.
Well, if anything pinks, you do got your chance to express a few things if you want.
Yeah, look, listen, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan, but free game is a free game. So, and I'm a cheap bastard. So, got Assassin's Creed Odyssey for free. I will give a tentative preview of how I feel about it sometime in the near future. And that's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach me at Matthew Wesley at Mr. Red Fox BS Busters 91 at Twitter. You can also reach me at Gmail at Mr. Red Fox BS Buster at gmail.com. That's if you want to leave me questions, comments, concerns, all that fun jazz. But with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you and have a good day.
And hype responsibly.